My friend, at least I'm honest with myself, this week I've come to realize something that I knew, but I didn't know until I experienced it. This before you is a 2024 Buick Envista. And if you're shopping Buick or know anything about Buick or have followed them over the last few years and their evolution and transformation, you're probably thinking to yourself, it's possible that the Buick Encore that I just reviewed last week, which is what has essentially allowed these thoughts to bubble to the surface, you probably think the Encore is the entry-level Buick. But in fact, it's not. It's the Envista. And that has kind of left a semi-bad taste in my mouth because I really enjoyed the Encore. As I say in my review, I mean, I've always enjoyed small vehicles, and GM's batch of small SUVs, Trailblazer, the Encore, and so on and so forth, are just a lot of fun. They're just great. So I was expecting this to be the Encore Plus. The fact of the matter is that it's not. I'll tell you a little bit more about that later. But what Buick has done is in fact brilliant. Because there's still some buyers out there that want sedans, but are going to buy SUVs anyway. So why not give them a bit of both worlds? And that's what the Envista is. In fact, it's the entry-level sedan replacement in Buick's lineup. And it's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant because Buick's approach is that design sells. Everything you can touch and feel sells. And that is absolutely true with this. I mean, I'm seeing a lot of Envistas on the road. But it doesn't work for me. It really doesn't work for me. I mean, in my opinion, for a number of reasons, one being the absence of all-wheel drive for this, I would get an Encore, not an Envista, even though it is kind of sleek looking, I have to admit. Though black with black wheels is so played out and it doesn't fit the personality, or this vehicle's personality anyway. But yeah, so I won't tell you anymore, okay? Just you have to watch the rest of the video if you're interested in the Buick Envista, of course. So as per the norm, in the following video, we'll do the walk around and we'll take it for a semi-buzzy ride. Not unentertaining, but just please watch. Thank you. So yeah, crossover is the word I was looking for. So what you have to keep in mind when you look at the Envista is that it's essentially, and I mentioned the gorgeous, fantastic Buick Regal in my Encore review, and I'm doing it again now. It's essentially a hatchback, a 5-door hatchback, which is sadly, almost dead in North America now, but with extra ground clearance. As you can see, it's actually kind of tall. There's a lot of wheel gap going on right there, but sleek, very, very lovely front end. As I said on the Encore, it really, really works. It's a little bit fishier looking on the Envista than the Encore, but still, I have to say that it's got character, it's got personality, and yeah, overall, very sleek looking vehicle. So, pricing in the US for the base preferred, $22,400. See, that tells you right away that this is not a premium flagship vehicle, and that's for the preferred. And then the Avenir, which is the top trim over at Buick, is $28,600. In Canada, the same preferred is $26,999, and the same Avenir is $31,849. With the base model, I mean, still very well equipped. So this is what I meant by you get a lot. What you see and feel, you get a lot for your money. 11-inch touchscreen display, wireless Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, Sirius satellite radio, 17-inch wheels, heated front seats, heated steering wheel, power driver seat, 8-inch digital IP, remote start. I mean, it's well equipped for $27,000. My model, I don't think I stopped by just to show you, but is the ST, or the Sport Tour. What a move, huh? Now that's camera work. Is the ST, which is $28,299. That's it, $28,299 to start. The extras include 18-inch wheels, leatherettes, and all kinds of black trim. My tester has a few options, such as the convenience and experience packages, so power liftgate, sunroof, with the 19-inch wheels for a grand total of just shy of $31,000. That's dirt cheap. It's really, really cheap. It's just, I'm surprised. And the Ebony Twilight, I think that's the black, and it is an extra cost, and it is included in what I just said. Okay, I mentioned the Encore, right? So just so you get a better idea, the wheelbase on the Envista is 4 inches longer, and overall length is 15 inches. So it's a considerably larger, longer vehicle. Maybe not in the wheelbase, but anyway. All right, so let's get on board. So power hatch, because it's included in the package with this thing. So 586 liters. You can see this is a hatchback. It's essentially, it's that crossover business. Look how, nearly, or very, very, what's the word I'm looking for? The slope is not very sharp. How about that? Kinda storage under there. But decent trunk, good width. Now this you can fit golf bags in, if that's your thing. There we go. All right, so, oops, forgot about the bag of, yeah, it was a gift, okay? I won it fair and square. Yeah, so it's actually fairly spacious. I think you may have noticed that it's a flat floor. I mean, there's no all-wheel drive. And it's quite spacious, I have to say. I mean, between the two seats, you can't really squeeze a normal-sized human adult, or even a teenager. But look, there's a lot of room. I have to say, though, that the passenger front seat is moved far forward, so my son has a little bit more wiggle room. But otherwise, it's actually kind of spacious. So this is where, these are the selling points for the Buick. Look at the details for the ST. Just the Envista in general. It's really nice. It's nothing special, but it's nice. You get a sense of premiumness, like textured dashboard top, contrast stitching. Seats actually kind of nice. I don't know if it's me. I'm not having a bad week, but they're not as supportive or comfortable as in the Encore, and I think they're identical. So the power lumbar, I think, doesn't go as far out, or anyway. So here's the 8 and 11-inch screen. Let's just slide aboard. Start it up. That was the seat, not me. Okay, so 8-inch display. You can change a little bit the menus there. I always like the fact that there's a actual physical knob hidden in there. But the screen has been 11-inch. It's nice. So the menus work out wonderfully well. There's nothing wrong with it. I mean, you have actual physical heated seat buttons and HVAC controls. The steering wheel is actually kind of nice. Right, the same layout, generally speaking, as in the Encore. So you hit the steering wheel button right there. That's for your driving aids. Storage is okay. This also has a wireless charger. So decent, very decent. That's gonna look weird on the screen. Good door bins and visibility, like in the Encore. It's about the same thing. It's not that bad. Right around the base of the A pillar. I mean, overall, this is a nice place to be. I mean, some of the switches are really old, and the plastics are very cheap. But if you don't, okay, I said touch and see. Let's just say you touch with your eyes. How about that? Okay. But I mean, for the price, this is a very impressive and very nicely laid out place. The drive, well, here we go. Drive. Because I'm such an honest guy, I'm going to tell you that this is the third take for my intro, because I've been trying to find the best way to describe how to open the driving portion of the Envista review. And if you're curious about Buick products, start with the Envista, because what has happened, and it's kind of all, it's all because of the Encore, because I enjoyed its agility, how nimble it was, how punchy the 3-cylinder turbocharged engine was. It just did everything, the refinement. I really liked it. And getting it to here, my expectations were way too high. Which is why now I understand why now, because this is not above, it's below the Encore. The first thing is the absence of available all-wheel drive. And as you can see, winter reared its ugly rear for one last time. And my driveway has a slope that's about 3 degrees down or something like that, and I got stuck slightly in my driveway with this because front wheel drive. But that's neither here nor there. It's also not on winter tires because, you know, it was summer like 48 hours ago almost. So yeah. See, this is also powered by a 3-cylinder engine. It also has quiet tuning, has all of the above, but this is a 1.2 liter, not a 1.3 liter, which produces 137 horsepower, which is effectively less than what you'll get in a Toyota Corolla, and 162 pound-feet of torque, which is a saving grace. Essentially, that's why this is, you know, a viable option, because it comes on as of about 2,500 RPM all the way to 4,000, and then the horsepower kicks in at about 5,000 RPM. So it actually kind of gets out of its way, but it feels so much slower than the Encore. The Encore really punched you, but it has a 9-speed automatic transmission. This has a 6-speed. And it's not a weight thing, right? Because the Encore weighs, all-wheel drive, as I drove, about 3,300, 3,400 pounds. This weighs about 3,100 pounds, 3,150 give or take. So it's lighter with similar power, but fewer gears. Oh, I hate to say it, but I'm just going to keep at it. I mean, this truly is kind of what I said. This is the Buick buyer's replacement sedan. It is truly aimed at those of a certain age who want to replace whatever it is they're driving with something a little bit more premium, a little bit easier to get in and out of. And I say that with all due respect because I know my time will come if I'm lucky, in fact. And then, see, it doesn't get better at any point because the ride isn't any more comfortable. In fact, it's not as refined. Despite the quiet tuning and all of that, it rides a little bit harsher. It's a semi-independent rear suspension. It's the same layout as the Encore GX, yet it's not as smooth, it's not as refined, and it's on summer tires. Brake steering, everything else is fine. And fuel efficiency, GM says you can average somewhere around 8. I'm averaging about 8.5, which is like the city mileage, and I've been done good mixed driving so far. So that's all fine. It's really the expectations versus the reality of the Envista and where it's positioned in Buick's lineup that really screws with me. Because it looks nice inside and out. It's cheaper than most mid-sized sedans, even with more equipment. It's more, but it's less at the same time. So what it is, kind of like what I said earlier, is that Buick is banking on design. And that's what's going to make this thing work. Because otherwise, I don't see why anyone would take this. Even if the boot is a little bit bigger, I don't see why anyone would take this over an Encore GX. I really don't see it. And then the remainder of the models where they're even more interesting. But yeah, that's it. So this is your new sedan at Buick. I'm done.